UNDP छोटी बार आसमा जहांगीर कॉन्फ्रेंस का हिस्सा है। ये तीसरी बार है जब मैं यहाँ शिरकत कर रहा हूँ। मैं आसमा जहांगीर के काम को आगे बढ़ाने पर इंतज़ामिया को मुबारकबाद पेश करता हूँ। As I mentioned, this is the fourth Asma Jahangir conference that UNDP has the pleasure of being part of, and the third one that I participate in. UNDP is proud of being a participant and a witness to Asma Jahangir Foundation's commendable trajectory from its very beginning, and we see from the participation here today a sign of its success. All along, our cooperation with the Asma Jahangir Foundation, based on our shared vision for protection, promotion, and strengthening of human rights and equality, has deepened and further nurtured our collective commitments. Today, we gather here not only to enjoy a series of expert sessions of most compelling human rights themes, but also to rejuvenate the spirit that Asma Jahangir brought to the human rights discourse in Pakistan and beyond its borders. The theme of this year's conference, the crisis of constitutionalism, is a crucial reminder that the society is stronger and more resilient when each individual has the agency to play a meaningful role in political, economic, and social life, contributing to policy making that affects their lives, including by accessing information, engaging in dialogue, expressing difference of opinions, and peacefully joining together to express their views. This includes defending the rights to freedom of speech, thought, conscience, religion, and belief, as well as promoting accountability for human rights violations and abuses, and highlighting threats to human rights conditions within the society wherever they might occur. This becomes exceptionally critical in times of adversity. In the wake of the catastrophic monsoon flooding this year that affected more than 33 million people, damaged and destroyed 2 million homes, and led to around 1,700 deaths. 84 districts have been officially declared as calamity hit. And while flood response is progressing in the calamity hit and flood affected districts, it is also a moment to ponder. We need to consider how and why the floods and this disaster have affected the poorest districts and population groups hardest. We also need to consider the unprecedented burden on districts that are not directly affected but are hosting flood affectees. We need to stimulate a set of actions to support these people and districts for an inclusive and sustainable recovery so that this is not repeated. This is also a call for focusing our attention on environmental and climate change challenges. At UNDP, we are spearheading analysis and research on climate justice and access to environmental justice. It's clear from our work that these areas intersect with rule of law, people-centered justice, resilience, and gender justice. We have also seen that developing countries with high external debts are facing serious challenges to balance their payments vis-à-vis investing in nature, climate, and green energy programs. Without effective debt management and sometimes restructuring, poverty can further rise and critical investments in climate adaptation and mitigation projects may not happen. We understand Pakistan needs immediate support to have a realistic chance to combat the impacts of climate change. In this regard, UNDP launched a global report on the need for debt relief earlier this week, where Mr. Achim Steiner, UNDP administrator, proposed a string of measures, including writing off debts, offering wider relief to greater numbers of countries, and even adding special clauses to bonds contracts to provide breathing space during crisis. I quote the UNDP administrator, it is urgent for us to step up and find ways in which we can deal with these issues before they become less manageable and perhaps unmanageable, end of quote. Furthermore, insecure land tenure coupled with lack of land reform policy and poor governance, has contributed to vulnerabilities of communities already at risk to falling under the poverty line. The current floods have aggravated the vulnerabilities for people in the disaster-struck areas, both people with and without access to irrigable land. UNDP is delighted to note that this year, the conference is continuing to ensure specific space for discussion on the rights of transgender persons. UNDP is the custodian of a Global Fund grant on HIV prevention and response in Pakistan, and its initiatives include ending stigma and discrimination faced by transgender people and other key populations in access to their rights and services. UNDP is resolute in playing its full part in the advancement of human rights and ensuring that no one is left behind. Equally, we are convinced that promotion of human rights is not a narrow province of any one organ or office. It's a shared responsibility that concerns and impacts us all, everywhere and at all times. Finally, it's befitting that the Asma Jahangir Conference bridges with the days leading to the 16 days of activism and up to the International Human Rights Day later in the year. UNDP stands ready to continue assisting Pakistan on the implementation of its national and international human rights commitments in its devoted collaboration with the state, government bodies and civil society. UNDP participates in this crucial event with the belief that civil society plays a crucial role in addressing and responding to many of the global challenges we are facing today, including human rights concerns. It's essential that its voice, the civil society voice, is incorporated into all our planning and in high-level dialogues on the challenges facing the global community. We seek to ensure greater transparency, predictability, and inclusivity for NGOs and civil society in our work, and we welcome your efforts to ensure broad and meaningful civil society representation and leadership in Pakistan's development journey. With this, again, I congratulate the Asma Jahangir Foundation on this important event and all its work, and wish all the participants truly resounding takeaways from the conference. Thank you very much.